Today we are in Spencer Island, in Old Shipyard Beaches and Cottages Campground. And it's, as you can see, it's such a beautiful view. And this is actually the Bay of Fundy that you're seeing here behind me. And the reason why it's called the Old Shipyard, because it actually was an old shipyard. And you can see just kind of slightly ahead of me, one of the docks, you see all the little stumps kind of going up. That actually used to be one of the docks that was coming out. And along our walk today, we're going to see a few of them. And that's how we're going to get our 10,000 steps in, by just walking the shoreline. And the reason why we can walk the shoreline today is because the low tide is out, and it's maximum, it's at 11:30 actually today, and today's it's right 11:30, and we'll be able to walk the entire shoreline along the coast. And that's how we're going to get our 10,000 steps in today. When my partner and I decided to do this adventure, buying an RV and traveling around the world, and there were 3 to 4 main things that I had to personally struggle with. One was downsizing, and rationalizing all my materialistic items. 2 was leaving the kids and figuring out how to cope with and keep communicating with them. And 3 was finding purpose. And what do I do now that, I've left my job, and what am I going to do every day? And so along our walk today, I'm going to share each of those items. So I'm just going to kind of give you a bird's eye view before I start my talk. Just kind of look at how beautiful it is. In this particular area. Look at that. It's so nice. A lot of fishermen, actually in the morning, they start about 5 o'clock. And this morning there was probably about 10 boats out. And I'm going to just spin around one more time. If you look at, I don't know if you can see, but behind me, there's like about 5 or 6 boats still left out there. So yeah, it's really quite lovely. Okay, so I'm going to talk about downsizing, but in my downsizing, I'm going to break it up into 2 kind of things that I have to deal with. Downsizing and rationalizing materialistic items. So what I discovered in downsizing was you're going from a house to an RV, and what happens there is you've got all these things that you collect when you're in your house for so many years, and then you've got to figure out how to, how to decide what are the items that are important to you. And I found that very difficult because, as silly as this sounds, you have 10 pairs of shorts. When you're going into an RV, you can only take with you 1 or 2. And all of a sudden, why are they so important? And which ones am I going to take with me? And it became like I wanted to keep everything. So it took me a few months to kind of take those things and decide which ones do I want to keep, which ones do I want to donate, which is what we donated. And that I found that process very difficult. I'm going to show you kind of where I'm stepping over. When the tides go out, you'll notice that there's little streams all through the beach area, and you can see the water is still running away. It's really quite interesting. So once I decided what shorts to keep, glassware, plates, all those things, coats, you have a coat, jacket. Once I figured that out, I went through the process of material loss. I had all these materialistic things, and now I've lost them. And what do I do with that? So I felt a sense of loss, and I know it sounds silly, that's what I would think. And I felt actually guilty that I was so attached to materialistic items. And once I realized that they really weren't important to me. And what was important to me was being with my partner, having travel experiences. That's what, to me, I realized was the thing I needed to focus on. So that was a big deal. When you're downsizing, what's actually happening, for those who didn't watch my first episode, we went from a house that was, 1,500 square feet to 200 square feet RV. What's difficult is you're taking all those items that you've collected and through your years, and you all of a sudden have to decide and prioritize, what is important to you. That is the most difficult part. Then you realize that you're attached to these materialistic items. Then you realize, that I feel guilty for being attached to these materialistic items because they're truly not important items in your world. What's important is your family, your life experiences. That's what you're going to take with you through your years. And that was probably one of my biggest struggles. But I've settled it now. I now realize that I was being silly and that it didn't really work for me out because we're at one of the dunes from the water. That material items don't really matter. But it took several months to go through that particular transition. And I'm glad I'm in a good place. I took what I needed and a couple of things that I wanted. And I feel actually, at the end, I feel free. And that felt to me liberating. I felt free. I only had the things that I need. And now I'm free and fill my mind with all these wonderful experiences that I'm glad that I did it. But I truly was tough to go through it. But I feel like, am I a better person? I don't know how to explain it, but I feel better about it. And I feel better about our choices that we made from a materialistic standpoint. And, overall, it's a good thing. So my second topic is kids. A year prior to my partner and I deciding that we were going to travel the world, we had approached our children. We have 4 kids, and we shared them our idea. And much to our surprise, they all said, "Great, go do it." And I guess as a parent, you have a greater sense of loss. I've discovered this. You have this loss, like, I've raised these kids. I have a connection with them. We talk every day, or most of them we talk every day. And what am I going to do far away? I'm going to miss all their things. And their things being their life experiences, their work experiences, what they did on a long weekend, anything like that. And we felt that we had to devise a plan. So what we did was, our kids give us the green light. They were happy for us, so that kind of put our hearts at ease. And then we came up with a strategy to keep in touch. So we FaceTime each other. We created a WhatsApp group. And between those 2 mediums, they're able to communicate with us and we can communicate with them. And it's worked out really well, surprisingly enough. So I think I actually get more updates with my kids now than I did before when we were at home, because everyone was kind of doing their own thing. 3 of our kids live on their own with their partners or by themselves. And our youngest child is embarking in his last year of school. He'll be finishing in June, and he will be living in his own apartment. And we actually get better updates, and I think quality updates from them, because our kids know we're going to call. They know we're going to spend time together. They know we're going to share where our whereabouts is. And they're going to share what their ups and downs are from the last time we spoke with them. So, surprisingly enough, my sense of loss wasn't as big as I had anticipated, because we developed a communication style that everyone can follow along with. And what we've been doing is we have a map of Canada, because that's where we're touring right now. And in the map of Canada, hold on, I'm stuck in a river, as you can see, and I'm going to be saved. Oh, I got soaked wet. Oh, that's okay. And what I do is my partner will put a pin, save a pin, and we send everybody the pin so that they can look where we are. And then on our big map, I do a little path with black arrows, and it allows us to show them how far we've gone. And the interesting thing about this is that, for example, we also said to our kids, you know what, anytime you want to come and join us, just tell us when you want to come and we can accommodate you in our RV. And my partner and I truly didn't think that anybody would come. Not for a while, not until they were, we're a year into traveling. And the great part is that our daughter is actually with us. So because we're close to Halifax, she actually flew into the Halifax airport, one of them anyways, and we picked her up, and she spent 5 days with us, and she's actually still with us. So that was truly exciting. So she, got to experience some of the stuff that we've been experiencing touring around. And, again, surprisingly, I'm comforted. It's actually turned out better than I expected. It takes a little work and planning, but the reward is well worth it. The reward is amazing. And I'm happy that we made the effort to create these lines of communication. And everybody, so far, has been following through and actually quite excited and involved in our adventures from afar. I gotta give you another look from behind. Look at that. Isn't that stunning? Wonderful. Sorry, I keep stopping because it's just so beautiful that I want to take a look. And this is what's ahead of us. I'll turn around and we're going to walk way over there. So I'm going to show you a little bit of that. The one thing I like about traveling and walking is walking the different terrain. So if you saw my video last week, the terrain was up and down hills, and then we reached a beach. Today, you'll notice if you look at the floor, the ground behind me, it's all pebbles. And the great thing about that is that as you're walking, you're maneuvering around the pebbles, and you're getting a good leg workout. And it's keeping your mind sharp because you've got to make sure that you're maneuvering around the rocks and the pebbles, and you're not going to slip, and you're balancing yourself. So all that stuff in my mind as I'm walking, it feels good. It feels like I'm really getting a true workout. What you can see is, here's the ocean, Bay of Fundy in particular. Look behind me, and I don't know if you can tell, but the incline and how far the beach is. So a quarter of a mile, the water was all the way up there, and now it's all the way down here. I just find that so exciting. It's very interesting. The tides in itself is very interesting to learn about. Isn't that cute? Look at that big shell.
Scallop.
Was that a scallop?
That's a scallop.
Oh, look at that.
That's a sea scallop.
Oh, nice. So big. I think I'm going to keep that.
Turn it over.
Yeah. Turn over. Yeah.
See that circle?
Oh, hold on.
That was,
yeah.
That was the size of the scallop. So
wow. That's a pretty... It's actually...
That is a big restaurant-style scallop.
Oh, there you go. Oh, very cool. I think I'm going to keep that. It's nice. Tell them. Don't be shy. Tell them what
So,
you do.
Every time we go to a new location, especially on beaches, I always search for unique rocks. And Lucy's got a little jar in the bathroom that she keeps all of those rocks in from all of our different locations. And I was just telling her that today I didn't get her a rock because I found something that I thought was a lot more cool and special. It's small, but it's a very cool little shell.
It's unique. It'll add to the dynamics of the rock jar.
It's like you, unique.
Oh, you're so sweet. So I learned something on my walks. Notice you'll see all the, almost looks red. And I discovered that is all seaweed. It's quite interesting. There's seaweed that looks like large leaves, you can see. And then I'm gonna get closer to the water and show you. I think they have it here. Oh, these were all the leaves. So actually these are where all the leaves are. Isn't that interesting? And apparently you can eat that.
We're at 3,821 steps.
I figure that we can probably get halfway down the shoreline before we have to come back. So what we'll do is, are you good with hitting 5,000 steps and then we make our way back? Okay. Oh, look at this find. Wow. Hold on, there it is. Turn it around. Oh, look at that. That's so pretty. Oh my gosh. Keep that one too. The little shells. You can see all the urchins building. I think that is super cool. Look at that.
Seaweed salad.
Well, apparently, I don't know this, but I've seen people on TV eat it, but I'm not going to. I'm not that courageous.
It's
Look
a
at that.
superfood.
It's a superfood.
There you go.
Maybe one day.
It'll be super Lucy.
Yeah, I can be super Lucy.
5,000, we're halfway.
Nice. One of the tips or tricks that I do for myself to motivate myself, because we're doing 10,000K, what I do is I walk 5,000K, half my trip, and then I turn around and walk back so that I don't get like unmotivated where I can't finish or things like that. So now I'm at my 5,000 mark, so I'm turning around and all the way back to where our RV is, and that'll be the 10,000 and it's all done. So that's exciting. We'll see you at the finish line. Oh, I finished my walk. It was actually very challenging today. The pebbles, like I was saying earlier, the pebbles are really hard to walk on, but it was really beautiful. Now, the last portion is about finding purpose. So once I got over downsizing and getting over the material aspect of things, and then setting a good schedule with my kids to keep in touch and making sure that we're part of each other's lives, the last element was I left work. Things that happens is that you have to find a new sense of purpose. So, while you work, you get up in the morning, you go to work, you establish friendships, which I had great relationships with our employees, and they were absolutely wonderful, and they were to some degree my friends, and to another degree my kids, because we had to take care of them and make sure everyone was good, and all those things. And then with that brings a lot of purpose. So now all of a sudden you're not working, and you're getting up every day, you're, obviously looking in these beautiful grounds, and you're looking at different places, but you still have to have a sense of meaning. And I guess this is another reason why I started vlogging, was to give myself a sense of purpose, establish a community out there where I can make connections. So I invite you to comment, let me know if you've gone through similar situations, and we can establish friendships along the way. So, that was probably one of the biggest things emotionally I had to get through, because it was a really big stop and start. I stopped working, and then you wake up literally the next day, and you really have to establish what you're going to do all day and come up with routines that make you happy and fill your soul and fill your heart, and feel a sense of purpose and belonging. And what's actually really been great, as we've been traveling out east and staying at RV parks and doing Harvest House, we've had an opportunity to meet absolutely wonderful people and establish some friendships. And what's interesting is the park that we're at now, the couple just bought the park, and they're going to retire doing an RV park. So it was really great making the connection, and I let them know we just retired, and we started talking. So you just build natural friendships through that. So it's been actually quite fulfilling. So all the fears that I had at the beginning of this process are now starting to ease, and routines starting to take place, and I am building a sense of purpose, building and continuing building great relationship with the kids from afar, and I'm just hoping that it just continues.